And welcome back. While the Dow Jones and the S&P 500 hit record highs last week, Wall Street giant Bank of America was busy negotiating another deal to make amends for its role in the foreclosure crisis. On Thursday, the Justice Department announced that Bank of America would pay $39 million to 316 members of the armed services that it illegally foreclosed on from 2006 to 2010. Yep, Bank of America targeted soldiers overseas with foreclosure. Another day, another blemish on Wall Street's public image. For many young Americans over the last few decades, a job at the big banks was once represented the pinnacle of professional success. But after the 2008 crash and all the ensuing scandals, does a Wall Street career still hold the same luster for young professionals? And should it? Let's ask Vanessa Loader, a former Wall Street executive and founder and CEO of Akoya Power. Vanessa, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks. It's great to be here.
Yep, great to have you on. So Vanessa, you worked on Wall Street for many years for big banks like JP Morgan. What initially attracted you to this field of finance, and then what eventually pushed you out of it?
Yeah, well, in terms of initially attracting me, coming out of college, everyone described investment banking as this kind of work hard, play hard job. And I thought, well, that's me. I like to work hard and play hard. I've always been really into academics and sports, and apparently I would acquire a really good skill set in business that would serve me well throughout my life. So it sounded great. And in terms of what drove me out, there were many things that led up to that. But eventually I got to a point in my career where I was, making well over $250,000 a year, sitting on the boards of companies. And I think someone looking at my life from the outside might have thought, wow, she has it all. But inside, I just felt really empty and lost and deeply unfulfilled, and I couldn't understand why. And so I decided that something had to change.
So I hear that. So you sort of had this this renaissance of thought that something had to change. And what was that change? So you created a new company, and what does that new company do?
Yeah, well, long story short, I did all this soul searching to understand why I had always been such an overachieving perfectionist. Went to an Ivy League school, graduated Phi Beta Kappa, and working on Wall Street was just sort of one more rung in that ladder for me. And basically, I started asking myself, what is it I really wanted to do with my life? And I couldn't even answer that question because I had been so caught up with achievement the whole time. So as I started searching more and more and did all this soul searching, I got really into alternative healing. And I found all of these techniques that really worked to lower my stress and anxiety and increase my happiness. Everything from, mindfulness-based stress reduction meditation to hypnosis, coaching, all kinds of energy healing. And I ended up changing so much that I realized what I was most passionate about was bringing those tools to other people in the business world. So I founded my company, Akoya, and I do high-end group coaching programs, corporate workshops, and retreats for people who are unfulfilled. And it could be with their careers or their relationships or some other aspect of their life.
Vanessa, was this your decision to leave? I mean, was this something that you just weren't jiving with the way Wall Street was working, with finance? Or did it reflect something wrong? Did you sense something wrong with the industry? I think it was Financial Times a few years ago had this article, Alfred Hitchcock's The Bankers, and it was about how surely anyone who would have thought selling these complex financial instruments and placing all these bets and then expecting bailouts, anybody who thought this was a good idea has to be a psychopath. I mean, did you get any sense of that, and was that what forced you out?
Well, I wouldn't call them psychopaths, for sure. I would say, you have a whole range of personalities on Wall Street. And I also want to clarify, in my experience, doing investment banking at Morgan Stanley on Wall Street in New York City was very different from, say, working in private equity at a smaller investment fund in San Francisco. Like culturally, the types of personalities, very different. So in my experience, the Wall Street, New York investment banking was a very toxic environment. And I mean, there were times when I would leave my suit jacket on the back of my chair, take the stairs up a level, and sneak into the elevator to go all the way down to the lobby to leave for the day so no one would know. And this was at 9 p.m. because it was bad to leave that early. So yeah, I mean, that's not a very healthy environment, right? I mean, I like to believe if you finish your work, there is no such thing as FaceTime, and they take it to a whole other level, at least
So, Vanessa, and I want to go back to the statement you made previously about sort of trying to find yourself. So what do you say to all those individuals watching tonight who are sort of having that struggle? They're probably part of the Wall Street culture. They don't want to lose the paycheck. In the last couple of seconds, like, what do you have to say to them? What should they do?
They need to follow their heart and their intuition. You know, I made a major transformation. I'm happier than I've ever been because of it. But I had to start asking the question, what does my heart want to do? What is my intuition telling me? Rather than living from a place of fear or ego and worrying about money. So it's really about following your heart and listening to those gut feelings.
Well said, Vanessa. Vanessa Loader, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you.